Are we ready? Good.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. We are back again with our special guest. Today we have with us RAJI TAMMINENI, and she's going to be sharing us lots and lots of experiences and the things which everyone should keep in mind once they're doing an expedition, whatever height it is, right? Be it a 4,000 meter, 6,000, 7,000. So height doesn't matter that much. It's the preparation, and the preparation goes along with the kind of expedition you're doing. So before I start, I welcome everyone. Thanks for being here. And we have a very, very interesting talk today. And we're going to ask lots and lots of questions, lots and lots of things, because not many times we get a person who is on failures, because everybody fails in life. It's just that some people speak about it, they have the guts to do it, and not many people do that. So, and I always feel, based on my experiences, that if you fail, you get to learn more rather than if you have not failed. Like, it's just like if somebody has scored a 41 out of 100 and the pass mark is 40, he feels very confident, no, I have finished it. But then as person who's on 39, he again does lots of work, introspection, and then he dwells on that. So with this as brief introduction, we'll welcome Raji to the show. Raji, welcome, and over to you. Please start with your background, how it all started,
Thank you, sir.
your first expedition and all.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, good evening, everyone. Such a great platform to know all of you people with great stories and to share, and great achievements. So I'm here. I'm RAJI TAMMINENI. So I'm 36 years old. I'm from Hyderabad. Before my climbing started, I was like normal. I did completed my MBA, and I worked in a corporate world, corporate company like for 6 years, like as senior financial analyst. So in the year 2012, I had to quit the job. That's because I had some few complications during my pregnancy. So doctor avoided me to travel. So I had to quit my job in 2012. And then once my son was born, so I have to shift back to Pune, because that is where my husband is working. So I have to shift back to Pune. So there, it's like a big society there in Pune. Like we stayed. So in Pune, the culture is like I seen like even my husband friends and the people who are like friends who are there in the society. Every weekend they used to plan for these trekkings. So they asked me many times, like, why don't you join them? But always I avoided because of the fear I have for these heights, because we used to stay in the 7th floor of my apartment. So looking down from the 7th floor used to give me anxious. I'm very anxious to look down from the 7th floor. I'm very scared. So I always avoided. And then in the year, I think 2015, 15, it's January. It's my son's second birthday. So I called them for his birthday celebrations, and everyone came. And then they're discussing about the next trek there. So they convinced me that to join them, and they assured me that they'll keep me safe on the trek. I said, okay. I don't know, somehow I'm in a good mood. So I said, yes, I'll join the trek. So this outside Pune, like 60 kilometers from my home. It's like Hatkeshwar trek. So I went, and it was like the mountain is like, it's high, and then we need to climb down, and then we need to again climb up, and there is like small shrine, Shiv temple, like very small shrine. So we need to reach there. So this is my first trek. I was so nervous. So most of the trek, I used all my 4 limbs. Like I literally crawled the whole trek. And while I'm on the trek, I've seen these ladies who got their goats to gazing on the mountain. They're with slippers. I'm climbing with the good trekking shoes, and they're climbing with the slippers, and just they're running behind the sheep and goats. So it just really fascinated me. And then finally, somehow, and with the help of my friends and with the encouragement, I could reach the top of that hill. And it's like a euphoria moment to me. So because all these years I avoided, because I got scared of these heights. And I was very, very happy to reach, because this was the greatest achievement I felt that time. It was very, very good. So after that, I came back home. And I was because that the same year, and my brother is preparing for Mount Everest. He is supposed to go in April. So is with a lot of excitement, I came home. I don't know what made me to think, maybe because I'm discussing with my brother who is preparing for the Everest. I just called him and I told him that even I want to be on top of Everest, because I realized that to face your fears, like to face my fear for heights, I need to reach heights. So I told him that I want to be on Everest. So as he doesn't want to kill my excitement, he said, okay, go ahead. But he said, as I don't know, I don't have any idea about mountaineering, about the gear, and about the terrain, nothing. So he asked me to first register myself in one of these institutes for the mountaineering course.
Right.
Yeah, then I said, okay. Then I searched for them, and then I got to know about NIM, Uttarakashi, National Institute of Mountaineering, and HMI, Himalayan Mountaineering Institute at Darjeeling. Why I opted for Darjeeling is like, my selling point is like, I never been to Darjeeling, so I wanted to see Darjeeling. So I get to see along with the course. So I opted for HMI. So I registered myself and I got a seat, luckily, in May, because few people, they wait for 6 months, 1 year to get a seat. So I applied in January and I got a seat in May. So it started around like May 4th or 6th. So all these years, I never been into any sports, because I was a good athlete player when I in my like school days. I stopped it when I'm in 10th because of the board exams. Because my parents, they are not educated, so they never said no to sports, but they wanted their children to have good education and settle in good job.
Right.
So all these years, I never been into any sport. Only the 2 years when my son born, as I'm running around him, so a little bit of active. Otherwise, nothing. So I started my preparation. First, like walking like a kilometer is like a big thing for me. Even after delivery, I put on weight, so it was very hard. So I started by the time it before, like I can jog like 5 km by the time it's like May. So I'm fully confident, because I am fully confident so that I can do this course. So I went to HMI. I went there, and there's a big girls group, like there's 70 people. And I'm very confident that I'm going to, because I because I could run 5 kilometers. So then I heard these stories, like most of them are instructors, like sports, and few already they did like climb many peaks like Stakangri, like Satopan. They did many peaks. Even I can't remember the name. And the first time hearing the names of those peaks, and everyone is like, they're if they I have only recent achievement is like running a 5 km for me. It felt me, so I started self-doubting, and it made me cry, so which I couldn't show them. So next day, and one day there was rest, and next day a course started. And the Darjeeling, it was the sea level is like 6,000 feet above, so every day they make you run 5 km. So at that height, again I'm back, like I can't run like 100 meters. So I'm always at the last. So I keep me positive. Okay, if I'm not going to complete, at least I can see the Darjeeling. Something I have to take something about, some good memory out of this experience. So I kept some positiveness. So finally we did some few rock climbing, this and that, and then we went for the big day came for the climbing, like the trekking. So we all started. And when before coming, they gave the list of what all we need to carry. In the list, they mentioned clearly about the thread and the needle, which I have to recheck, because I am not new to this. It just went out of my mind. So I didn't carry that, and most of them didn't. So when they gave me my backpack, it was fine. But when I'm climbing, the backpack handle came off. So then I realized why they asked me to get all those needle thread. So I couldn't do, because the whole thing I just hold that, and it had to climb the carrying 20 kgs. So when during my physical training, which at the HMI Institute, I was always lost. But on the mountain, like we are like 70 people, so always used to be at the top 20 at least. So yeah, I was good on the mountain. I don't know, because I've seen all these people with great into very great sports. they drop in between because they can't, their body is not acclimated, they're not able to adjust to the climate.
Altitude,
So
yeah, right.
yeah, altitude and climate, and yeah, they're not adjusted to that. So we reached the base camp. I did the snowcraft well, and finally we are the 20 out of 70. We are the only 20 people who reached the top of Renok Peak. So I'm one among them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very
Then the first thing I realized is like we should stop self doubting ourselves. And mountaineering is not a race, because when everyone is running, I always have this pressure. I need to cross them. I need to cross them. But mountaineering is not a race, so no one will see who is first or who is lost. It's like reaching safely, climbing safely and coming back safely. And one more thing which I like about mountain is like mountain doesn't see the gender. It's a female climber, it's a male climber. It's a climber for the mountain. So the struggle is same for everyone. So it gave me a lot of confidence, because before this whole course, I went to the shop to buy the trekking poles. Everyone suggested better to carry them so that the weight doesn't fall on your knees. So I went to the shop, and the shopkeeper, he told me that, this is a good course you have chosen. I don't know whether you're going to be a climber or anything, but after completion of the course, you can be a different kind of person. So while climbing, I cursed him a lot. I because I couldn't, it's like very tiring to 20 kgs and the bag is not good. And I'm continuously thinking, he said this, but I'm not finding it, because it's very cold and we need to sacrifice everything, like we need to tent, sleeping, everything is new to me. But once I come to the course, then I realized his words. Yeah, what he said was really right, because I became more confident. And the next biggest, most happiest moment is getting grade A in your certificate, single grade A, because I never got my academic. I never got it in my academics. So it's very
these courses are actually very, very hectic, because I remember my daughter, she has also done this course of adventure course they have. Yours must have been 28 days basic course. So for children, they have a 14-day course. I would like all the viewers to listen carefully. These courses are excellent courses. So once my daughter had gone, she is in 10th now. She had attended that course, and she was a different person once she finished the course. The way you were saying, you get lots and lots of confidence, because the kind of physical challenges you face over there are tremendous, and the kind of tent pitching you have to do for children, they have to do a lot of river crossing. For your level, again, must have been a different level altogether. But then yes, absolutely right. One point, that it gives you a lot of confidence, and second is a lot of lessons which you can only learn once you are there. Like I remember the way you were saying, it's not a race. It's not that if 10 people are starting, you've got to be the first one to reach there. It's more important to reach there. One instance I remember is that we were training for Everest, and that time I had to select a team out of 50 odd people. We had to select 20. So unfortunately, these people used to rush to the top, thinking that okay, we'll prove ourselves. That's the tendency. That to the team leader, we'll prove we are the best. And unfortunately, the people who used to reach the top, as you said, those used to be the people who never used to acclimatize properly. Because if you're doing fast, you reach earlier, your body is not acclimatized, and they used to vomit and used to have tough times. So these people finally couldn't get selected, and the ones who were slow and steady, the way you said, were the ones who were there in the final team. So very important point brought out, and everyone must understand this, that it's not a race. If you have to climb, you've got to be slow, steady. That's more important rather than going and focusing on speed. So this 28 days course, you got a grade.
Yes, A grade. The biggest achievement, because I never got it in my academics. Yes.
No, especially considering the background, which you are saying that you could only do a 5K, and that too not a true background into adventure or trekking also. That I'm sure is a big achievement.
Yeah. So then it started. Then during the course, and all these girls, they used to discuss about this 7 summits. Like climb all the highest peaks of all the continents. I thought, how cool is that? So that I get to see all these countries, because I love traveling. So I thought, yeah, it's true. Then I told him, he said that I know it, because as you've never been into this, I never discussed with you. So he knew it. So I said that, okay, I want to come. We'll both will do it. So okay, fine. Then 2015, we went because my husband supported me he took a loan, And
Okay.
we first is like this Kilimanjaro trip. It was like excellent
Okay.
trip. So 5 days, like we choose Marangu route. It's
Okay.
only 5 days, so we get very less time to get acclimatized. So
Right.
I asked people not to take that 5 days. Better to, because it's the very cheapest. Why I choose 5
Right.
days is like that is the cheapest. As you increase the days,
The cost goes up.
it is because cost increases. So I choose the 5 days, but I ask everyone not to choose that, because unless you are like experienced one, because
Right.
it hamper your success rate. It hamper
True.
your you fall into the risk, because your body will not get acclimatized fast.
Right.
But somehow we completed. I could reach the top. So even that was a great achievement, because my guide was saying, because I was slow on that, he said that I thought that you could reach only 5,000, because that night the food, because our the food is from the country, the food changes, the water changes,
Right.
the smell. If I smell the food, I used to puke. Even the summit night, and I puked, and only I got the sneakers, which was very the only thing which had one bite, which was very hard on the, because if you see on the Kilimanjaro, every day they first, which is like a rainforest where it's like shivering, drizzling and everything. Then we get to see this desert, long desert. And then the summit night is, everyone says Kilimanjaro is easy, but no, you need a lot of endurance, because from the second
Right.
camp, the last day we need to reach the last camp, like this, before summit camp. Before summit there's a camp, and then that night we need to climb again, come back to the second camp from where we started before this. It's like 18-hour stretch,
Oh.
climbing up and down.
Right.
So as we don't, at that height, we don't feel like eating. You don't get, because in the altitudes we have this we don't sleep well, so we don't feel like eating. So but finally we could reach the top and came back.
Great.
So it was nice. Even the Kilimanjaro, so we visited Maasai tribes, and yeah, it's a good experience. Wherever I go, I
Right.
explore
So
the
in
place
such
and
a
come
short
back.
time, right. So in such a short time, you did this expedition, first the course, then immediately after that, you did the expedition. So that feeling of being on top must have been totally amazing, on top
Yes.
of Kilimanjaro, considering the background, had
Yes.
somebody been into this for a long time, like you did after that, you did 16, 17, 18. So that's a different thing. But then first time being on top of a summit, and as you said, I mean, there's no summit which anybody can say is easy. Every summit
Yes.
has got own set of challenges. So
True.
must have been
So
a
true.
great feeling after that. So what was your next opinion after that? Okay, that now we can do everything.
Yes. Now I got a confidence that yeah, I can be on top of Everest. Everest journey is like big thing. So I started preparing for the Everest,
Okay.
and I improved my physical activities and everything. Every day I used to have this backpack and used to fill the backpack with the rock salt, 20 kgs rock salt. Slowly I
Okay.
increased to 30 kg, and my apartment is like 12 floors. So as I'm
Oh,
very scared of these heights, I used to climb the apartment, and from top of the apartment, I need to see down and
look
then
down.
come back. So I practice in that way. And there are crazy things people told, that just run and do the so much salt and then run back, so that you will get your fear, acrophobia will go, but nothing helped. So
Right.
fear is always with me. It became my companion. So it's always there, because that helped me to be more cautious. Fear
Right.
made me, because it don't make you overconfident. So it made me over cautious about every step I take.
But
So
but
finally,
generally generally our tendency is, if we are fearful of something, we try and avoid it. So why was it not the case with you?
I avoid it. Like I started journey at 31. All these years, wherever, because my husband love the rides. So always he is the one on the ride. I'm the down clicking the pictures and waving
Okay.
my hand to him. So all these years, I lost all the fun, and I avoided like 31 years. I avoided the heights. I never been
Right.
into giant wheel and big rides. Even now, small rides, but no, I can't get into the big rides. Yeah, it takes, because I don't.
So
Yeah.
tell me this: once you enjoyed your trek, the first step was absolutely right. You took a first step of doing a basic course,
Mm.
right? And that too in
Yes.
HMI Darjeeling. So it gave you
Yes.
good exposure to altitude and all. So
Yes.
why did you not go ahead with the second step, which would have been traditionally an advanced course?
Yeah, that at that time I had I don't have good. No one gave me the advice because there are very less people. I don't know much mountaineers that time. So whoever climbed from my state, they did a basic course and they climbed the Everest directly.
Oh,
So most of them.
I mean, because
yes.
now after
I don't want to name
going
them,
through this,
but yeah, they did the just basic course and they climbed. So they're not such. Even my brother, he did like that.
I know that's what.
Yes,
If you're not
yes.
naming, then we also know it. But then you
Yeah, I
learn the
want
harder
to.
way in that case,
Yes. But
I
yes,
mean,
when I went to
success
the
and failure
mountains,
is fine.
yeah.
Yeah, please.
See, when I find mountain like Everest, I see this climber from other nations. Only we Indians, we train for only 1-2 years and we are on the top of Everest. But they put
Correct.
like 10 years, 5 years into the training, and they come there. So
Absolutely. So that's why if you see, I mean, most of the people who go on Everest are Indians. This time
yes,
also the largest number of people on Everest were Indians, and 90% of them would be the ones who are not actually well prepared to be there. That everybody
yes,
knows. I mean, it is very, very
yes,
unfortunate that once we were coming back from the summit also, we were there camp 2. Out of 5 rescues which were to happen on that day, 4 of them were Indians. And that's
true.
why we get a bad name, because we go there unprepared sort of thing,
Yes,
which should not be the case, because you're risking your own life and then you realize, it's not worth it. If you're
risking your
risking your life
Sherpa's life
just for being on top, it
fame.
doesn't make sense.
Yes, true. I agree to
So,
that.
so tell me your journey from preparation to
Yeah.
the Everest.
Yes, I prepared well, and then I started. So we choose to climb from the north because my brother is going that side. Even if you see, because the most of the climbers they climb from the south side to avoid that
Right.
rush. So I choose to climb from the north. So the climbing was good. If you
Okay.
see, north side is completely rock, so it's more tiring. So it's like
Correct.
the route is very long from base camp to advanced base camp. It's very far and it's very tiring, very exhausting. And that too, we need to 3 times we from base camp to advanced base camp again, all the way come back to base camp again, base camp
Right.
to advanced base camp again, north pole again, all the way come back. So it's like 3 rotations.
Right.
So yeah, it's very
For
tiring.
those who would not know, see, the rotation means you need to acclimatize your body to the higher altitudes. You cannot just go to camp 1, camp 2, camp 3 and summit. So you need to go at a certain altitude, spend some time there, and then come back, so that the body develops capacity to stay in lower oxygen levels. So that's why,
Yes,
as
and
Raji said, 3 rotations they had to do for going up to the advanced base camp and then coming back to the base camp. So I'm sure that must have been extremely tiring and exhausting.
yes, very tiring. And it went well, everything was good. So I'm in the last team. So first my brother's team, they submitted on May 13th, other team they did on May 16th, and we are the last team.
Okay.
Our summit was planned on May 22nd. There are like these windows based on the team. So we are a big team, so all
Right.
cannot go in one stretch. So
Correct.
I started, so I was at the advanced base camp. That day we started, that's the 19th May 19th. So we started climbing to the North Col, which is at 7,100 meters. And from advanced base camp to the North Col, there is in between, there are huge rocks. So we should be very
Okay.
careful. So many times, even climbing also, we twist our legs. Many times we fall. It's very common thing on the mountain. So
Right.
I was climbing that time. I twisted my leg. At that time, I felt okay because it happened many times. We are in that mission, like climbing, and so it didn't bother me much. But this time it was like I twisted it more, so I didn't realize that. I climbed till the North Col, and after North Col, we slept there. And the next time I felt little bit of sharp pain in my ankle. Okay, I
Okay.
thought, okay, fine, because as I could, in spite of that, I could climb 7-1. I thought it would be fine. Then we reached 7-9. Then I reached 8-3. The next day in 7-9. So we rested there, and then we reached 8-3, the last camp before the summit night. So which is on 21st
Okay.
afternoon we reached there. So few hours we get to take rest. Yeah, the pain increased, but I thought, okay, I came this far, why can't I go? So I didn't.
Correct.
But that is the wrong thing. You should always listen to your body. I agree. So I started climbing. and the last, if you see north, it's completely rocky. And as we go high and with the crampons, very difficult to climb in that rocky terrain.
Right.
So I'm climbing and there's big rocks. And because as I have a lot of pain in my ankle, once I kept because I need to put the pressure and then climb up. Once I'm putting the pressure on my right and my leg is twisting and every time I'm slipping. So I'm hitting to the rock. And I dragged myself till 8,600. And then after that, I'm almost close to the first, because to the summit, and between two summit and the last, there is like 3 ladders. So we need to climb them. Then here, because everyone, I want to say the ladder is like all the team waits and one person will be on the ladder until he climb up. Everyone should wait.
Right.
Already because of the pain, I'm already slow. And if I'm on the ladder, I'll be very slow. Not only hampering my life, I'll hamper all others, because everyone gets freezed at that. If you're working continuously, you're fine. If you stop, then your body gets freezed, and you have the risk of AMS, like acute mountain sickness. So I thought, okay, it's a foolishness to continue my journey. I told my Sherpa that I want to quit here and I want to go back. He said, okay, and then we came back. While coming back, it was like, because it's a giving up at that height is like very courageous decision, because all your struggle will come to you, and taking the decision is not very easy. I spent like 5 minutes there, and it's not easy to take that, because your mind will be tricking you. It's only 250 meters, 200 meters. You can do it.
Right.
But you need to listen to your body. And I thought it was risky. So, and it's mountain. Everyone think that mountaineering is like reaching top. No, it's like knowing, you have the common sense when to return back.
Absolutely.
It's the beauty of the mountain. You should know when to return back, not reaching the top. So I came back to the last 8-3 and I took rest like 2 hours there. And then I started climbing down. Then just like few meters from my tent, that I seen a fellow climber who climbed with us before day. He was like dead, like he was motionless. Then I thought that, okay, the decision which I took was 100% right. Till then I was doubting whether the decision which I took is right or wrong.
Right.
Because I'd have gone, should I go back and climb? It's like, altitude tricks your mind so much. So I thought, the decision which I took was right. He's trying without oxygen. He got exhausted and his team left him there because they can't rescue. Because in death zone, it's very difficult to rescue you.
Absolutely.
So because to rescue one person, we need a good 5 good climbers to rescue one person.
Very
so it's
true.
very, it's not, no one can rescue at that height. Even so, they leave the dead bodies there because because we need to put so many lives at risk to get one person back. If you see, from that dead zone. So I felt very bad for him, but I have to come back. He's trying without oxygen. One more thing, he's trying without oxygen, and his team know that he's struggling for the oxygen. He's exhausted, and they left him with the radio, and they continued with the climb. And after coming back to North Col, and when I'm sleeping and I need to reach advanced base camp the next day, I'm thinking, if I'm there, because I spent with my team like 2 months and they're like my friends and family, if I am in the same situation, so are they going to abandon me or abandon their summit?
Right.
But it gives shivers, but I never asked to the team because we are not in the situation. No one can answer that.
Correct.
So this is the dark side of Everest. Sometimes I feel, not any climbing.
No, that's true. I mean, as you said, everybody must understand, once you go into Everest, there are about 200 to 250 dead bodies over there. So it's not a very rosy kind of a place where you would love to be. But then once you see the first dead body, it hits you. And then it could have been you, that sort of feel. So it's very, very important to keep holding to your nerves, like you were sensible enough to turn back. I'm sure had you gone up, maybe you could have submitted, maybe not, but then you would have risked a lot of things in life. Your family was waiting back home.
Yes.
Your mother was there. Again, Bharat was there. Everybody was waiting back home. So there was no point risking so much. In the end, you had that experience on Everest, and it's just a matter of few meters. which
Yes.
doesn't make sense.
True.
For people, okay, they might say for some time, but then you are answerable to your own self. Those 250 people who have died over there are the ones who didn't think rationally. And as you said, AMS symptoms, they do crop up. That's the reason, first thing, if you're not moving ahead, you're just at one place, your body starts shutting down. And that's why you have so many cases of frostbite, and then slowly, hacko, those sort of things, they do come up. So if your brain gets shut down, then you cannot help it at all.
Yes. Because most of the people, even they put so much of energy to reach top, and they have seen many people they're rescuing when climbing down,
right,
and they have to rescue them. It's not only climbing up, it's returning back safely. There is a famous quote like,
absolutely,
climbing is optional, returning back is like mandatory.
very true.
So we should
Very
be
rightly
alive,
said.
and we should be alive to share your success story. If everyone goes there and something happens, out of our experience, someone should learn what to do and what not to do. So that's
Correct.
the mountaineering.
No,
Any sport, like any sport.
That's true. No, in fact, we also had these guidelines very, very clearly to all the team members. Summit and all is secondary. First and foremost, you've got to be back. If you're not back, and that's why we never stayed on top for much time. Only 2 minutes, 3 minutes. We said no. Aim is to come down, because as everybody must understand that 1/3 of the issues as regards the casualties happen while coming back. Because till the time you reach the top, everything is going fine. You have a target, so to say. But then the moment you reach the top, you leave your guard down. That's why you have lots and lots of cases. This year alone, 11 people died on Everest, and in all, 18 people had died in 2019 once we were there. So it's important to consider this as a two-way journey, and then keep your mind open. At the end of the day, it's just a peak. Whatever experience you had to share, that you had to, you got to learn the lessons, and you learned it and you could share it now. There's no point doing Everest and then staying there. It doesn't make sense. So tell me this, that's an interesting part. First thing, did you carry any painkillers with you? Because at times people carry that in case of pains, they'll have pop in a tablet and then they'll push on forward.
No. Why I didn't? Because the same, when during my HMI course, that's first time doing climbing the high altitude, I got knee pain, severe knee pain, and the doctor prescribed me one painkiller, which I took. So this made me like the face was swollen. It didn't suited me. So I thought I didn't want to take any risk.
Correct. Obviously.
Yes. At that altitude, we don't know how your body reacts to the medicine.
Very right. No. And especially those altitudes, the body may not be able to digest as well, because how the body responds, you don't want to take chances. That's true.
Yes.
Could have been that you don't even come back in those circumstances.
Yes.
So that is one. Second is that, other thing which I want everyone to understand, at ground level, it's okay to say that if somebody is not feeling well, you will rescue. But then people who have been there would understand that 8,000 meters, what we call the dead zone, nobody's going to help you. And you don't want to pile up also. You don't want to be a liability to the other person. If you're not feeling well, it makes sense you go back rather than jeopardizing the summit of 3 or 4, let's say 6 members as well. So that's a very, very wise decision. And otherwise people may become selfish, okay, I'll drag and my team members might pull, which generally is not the case. Nobody is going to help you there. But then you've got to be keeping this in mind and be sensible that you are on your own at those altitudes. To tell you incidents, for all the viewers, we know of a lady, she was there on Everest last year with us, not with our team, but the other team. And she was struggling right at Camp 1. And at Camp 1, her Sherpas told her, ma'am, you'll not be able to make it because we have to go to Camp 2, 3, 4 and then summit. And the level of difficulty is going to increase exponentially. And this lady had the courage to say to the Sherpa, if you're not taking me up, I'm not going down as well. So these are the kind of people you have to face, You cannot blame the Sherpas. You cannot blame anyone. I'm not sure whether she went ahead or not, but then these are the instances we get to hear from all the Sherpas who are there. And imagine their plight, Because generally people feel once they've paid the money, it's just Sherpa's responsibility to take them to the top of the Everest. Which obviously is not right. And the way we say it's a two-way journey, it's important to make sure that you come back alive and tell your stories. Okay, taking this forward, So what was your first reaction once you came back to the base camp? I mean, on the north side, you must have met Bharat there, and it's
No,
shared
Bharat,
your experiences.
no, there was one teammate who was like, he got a little bit of frostbite there. So Bharat took him for
Okay.
took him to Nepal to the hospital.
Okay.
So
Right.
so yeah.
So what was your reaction? I mean, once you were in a safe zone sort of a thing.
Yes, I'm happy that I'm in one piece.
Okay.
And
very nice.
yeah, the perception, the way I used to look at the things changed because this experience, because few things like which we took so granted at the sea level, which became a luxury,
Right.
because getting a glass of water is like a luxury there. Even if you have like crores of amount, you can't buy a glass of water. It's a big task.
Right.
We need to dig the snow, and we need to boil it, and all of then we can't put everything into your mouth. So we need
Raji,
to
your video
take
is
it.
not coming. I think that has been switched off. The video is
No,
not
I
coming
didn't
as
do
of now.
that.
Can you check it?
Yeah, 1 second.
Or let me tell Aaron, can you check the video? Bharat's video is not coming. Raji, can you hear us? It's not showing. I think we've lost contact with her. Let's wait for her till the time she reconnects. So the point is, it's very, very important to come back, as we were discussing with her, because we had a very tough time. We submitted, and once we were coming back with our team, I was coming with my second team. We were divided 14 members into two parts, team 1 and team 2. So I was with the first team for the summit push, and then I waited on Camp 4 for another day for making sure that my second team of 7 reaches there, and we were coordinating from Camp 4. And so once we were coming back from Camp 4, the situation was horrible. Yeah, now I think we are back.
Yes,
So
yes.
Raji, can you tell us how are your experiences once you came back to the safe zone, and then once you came back to India? Because I'm sure a lot of
Yes.
people must have had a lot of things to say.
Yes, yes. Yeah, this thing, like that was it. So one, this my brother, he already submitted, and me on the side, I missed by like few meters, and all the media and all the newspapers are behind him to get this interview, and he's getting all these like congratulations messages, and everyone is congratulating him and everything. And me this side, no one is bothered to congratulate me on my decision, on my efforts. And top of that, they come to me and they say that you have crawled that few meters and you wasted money.
So people were expecting you to crawl the leftover distance, huh?
Yes, yes.
Nice.
So very mean comment. Yes, and they said you wasted money. It's like it's like bad luck. And no one appreciated my decision, and no one appreciated that I am safely back.
Right.
So
no, I'm sure, because the way I was discussing, since the time I've done Everest, every other day I've been interacting with someone, sharing experiences. But then I feel it's for you to share more, because anybody who wants to climb to Everest would like to know more that what mistakes you made, how you should go about it, which is more important. And it's a tough decision.
Yes.
It's easy to go there, die, rather than feeling all the questions once you come back here, listening to so many stories.
It's true.
So tell me, in brief, what do you think you could have done to make sure success? Though I'm sure from my side or anybody who has been on that altitude would not make it any difference. It could have happened with us or anyone else. It's the same. Anything could go wrong at those altitudes.
Yes. Instead of me dragging myself to 8,600 meters, I would have quit that at 8,300, the last camp, because that time I came to know that pain is increasing. So I would have stopped there itself, and I risked my life, which is very foolishness, I feel, from there. But at least at 8,000, I realized that what I'm doing is wrong, and I returned back. And
that
one
was
more
again
thing,
sensible.
Yes. And this whole experience taught me, like, if I could climb to that great extent, so anyone can climb. If you could climb, I could climb Everest. Anyone can climb. Because I see before my climbing. So if I came across any stories of any people climbing Everest, I used to see them as superhumans with superhuman capabilities and heroes. Absolutely. When I climbed, because I didn't carry any superhuman powers in my bag. It's just I struggled every step, I struggled in breathing, and I struggled. So it's like ordinary people. From that time, everyone looked the same to me. So we portray them as superhumans and superheroes, but we are all the same.
Right.
And it taught me that. And what everyone failed because they don't believe in themselves and they have the self-doubt and they're not consistency. If I felt like Everest, okay, I want to climb Everest, out of that excitement, if I stopped there, if I'm not consistent enough to follow my dream, I would have not been there on the Everest. It should be consistency. Correct. Yesterday, when I'm listening to Chitra Sen, so I'm not surprised or shocked about his achievements, but I love his determination, his consistency. Because after the incident, after losing 2 legs, he never sat there and he never stopped living life, and he never cursed his fate. He snatched every opportunity, and he snatched all the possible ways, and he was following his passion and everything. So nice to see, so inspiring.
No, it's like looking ahead rather than crying about your missed opportunities.
Yes,
you know?
yes. Even one more
that's
thing,
very brave of you. Yeah, please.
Yes. Even when I came back, even I heard few people, like 2-3 people, they clearly told on my face, like, you missed your summit, but I don't see the pain and sorrow on your face. I don't know.
But then there was no reason to feel pain.
Yes. Even after the summit, we are like 17 team. Most of them are submitted, only like 2-3 people. And one day I'm going to share the pic. And everyone is so serious. I'm the only one who is smiling with my teeth outside.
Very nice.
Yeah, many people did ask me, like, I don't see any sorrow in your face.
Right. Okay, no, that's fine. That's good that they don't see any sorrow on her face. So what else could be better than that? Okay, tell me this. Based on that, what lessons can you draw from them? And how did it change you as a person turning back? Which the summit might not have been the same, but then after you turned back, what lessons did you learn from that experience?
No, as a person, I didn't change, but few perceptions have changed. Like, you should listen. You should always be in the moment. You should not do. You should enjoy the journey instead of having the pressure of submitting. Like, I need to submit. I heard people saying, like, either I submit or I'll not go home back alive. Like, I want to die here, or I submit and go back. As all this filmy dialogue we hear on the Everest.
No, that's extremely dangerous, because I remember once we were there, we had one of the persons, that individual had sold off a land for 30 lakhs and then they had come to Everest. So imagine the kind of burden they are carrying once they're climbing on summit. So there's no fun. Where's the fun in doing an expedition if you're carrying so much of baggage on your head that if I don't reach the top, then I'll not be able to face my villagers or my family, that kind of a thing. So there's no fun at all in that case,
Yes.
It's more of a obligation you're doing rather than enjoying the expedition as such.
True, very true.
Right. So tell me, what advice would you give to others? One is like very clear that you've got to listen to your body, you've got to keep your senses alive, and got to come back alive. Right?
Yes.
Then what lessons do you think should be the right step for a person who wants to climb an Everest or any expedition? How should they go about it? Because you have after that you have done expeditions to Kilimanjaro, you have taken teams and all.
Yes,
so how do you say?
So my journey started like HMI basic, Kilimanjaro, like which is like 5,900 meters, close to 6,000 meters, and then Everest. So which is like it's not a good planning. So I tell everyone to do 7,000 meter, if possible, 2. 7,000 meter, if you're on the top, you get that overconfident that if you do 2, it's my first time maybe lucky, second time it's like your capabilities, like you reach the top. So
no, that's a good point.
Slow and steady. No, don't be in a rush, and don't climb for the name and fame.
Correct.
Many people, it's the truth. Most of them, like 60%, they climb for this name and fame, to be on the TV and to be on the paper, and to boost about themselves in their villages back, and they boost themselves among their relatives and their friends and everything. No, it's not that.
Right. No, that's absolutely the fact. In fact, that's why we say the planning has got to be very, very precise. In fact, we had Ricky Singh last time, and the way he planned was amazing. He did 7,000, he did 8,000 also with Bharat Sharma. This guy went to
Yes, yes.
8,000. Then only he felt he was confident. He went till camp 3 also in the previous year. And then that's how the planning should be there. And if
Yes,
you have
true.
not planned it, there's no point going to Everest. You know, there are so many other expeditions. Do a 6,000 meter. Why do you need to go to Everest if you're not
Yes,
prepared for it?
yes.
You
Yeah,
know,
even
it's
there are very
risking so many
toughest
things.
6,000. Yes, true. Even there are many 6,000 meters, very toughest peaks than the Everest. Like they're very risky peaks. We can try them. Yes,
Yeah,
we
very
can do.
true.
Even
I
as
mean, Everest.
even
Sorry.
yeah. I've seen many climbers I met, like they did like Choyu and then they came back to Everest, not directly climbing Everest.
No, for them it's difficult to imagine that somebody is coming from Kilimanjaro and thinking of going to Everest.
Yes,
You know, once you've been there,
yes,
you can relate it to it in a better manner, I'm sure. So, in fact, we are having another speaker in the subsequent week, Jason. So, Jason also is a very well planner. So, step by
yes,
step, and it's only the Indians who have got this fancy of Everest. Not many people around the world have got this fancy of being the highest mountain in the world. Though it is the highest, but then doesn't make much sense.
Yes, true. You know, yeah, I got this. I got this question. I asked many like fellow climbers who climbed Everest. I asked them, and these are the answers I got. Few told them that if I could, because for Everest is like a costly affair. Any other peak, if you see, costly thing, and they can only they can only get funded if they're climbing the Everest first thing.
Yeah.
And if they can summit the Everest and they can back, if they came back successfully, then only they can get funding for the other peaks.
Very true. That's a very important point. You know, I remember we were at Camp 2 coming back, and we met one of the individuals with, I mean, very, very bad shape, waiting for rescue. And then when we asked the person, I said, hope everything is fine. The first thing the individual says to me is that, you know, I didn't get the pictures clicked on top of Everest, which was funny. And I asked, you know, it doesn't matter. And they were like, you know, it matters because they have to answer to the sponsors because they have not taken picture with the sponsors flag. So lots and lots of burden people carry once you're going on Everest, and that's a very harsh reality, you know,
Yes,
that we have to face.
Yeah, even one of my friend, like last when he climbed up with me in 2017, and at 8,300 meters, due to as he some health, he need to return back. He need to turn back from the 8,300 in 2017, and again this last year he went on south side and he lost his life because last time his mother has sold her gold and she sponsored him. And this time he got the sponsors. He might have carried that pressure. I need to submit. This time I can't miss. Yes. Yeah. That pressure is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
it's okay. People
it's
speak all the
no
mean
point
things. It's okay.
Yeah, there's no point, you know, risking everything for an expedition. You know, it looks very rosy once you do it and once you're back, but then there are a lot of shades of black which are not very good as respect to the Everest or expeditions are concerned. So it's not as rosy. So we are running short of time. We'll just take the questions now, whatever we have got till now. Okay, so you've already addressed why south north side. No regretting the decision of turning back. Other questions which we had in the morning were just one second. Okay, now turning back, do you think was it a rational decision or an instinctive? I think you've answered, but then still, since it's been asked, what do you say now?
No, it didn't came just in the mind. Like I know I need to turn back. No, it was like 5 minutes of struggle there. Because you can see the summit very close by, and returning back is not at all a easy decision to take at that altitude.
Right, and the very fact that you are still saying the same thing, which means it was not a instinctive decision. Instinctive decision would have been, you know, that time you thought it's a decision, you turn back, and then later on you realized you could have pushed, which is again doesn't make sense.
Yes.
Okay, another question which has come is that, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No. Yeah, you can. Yeah, Roman. Then.
Okay, next is, you know, this is more pertinent to the south side, which says that, do you think the number of people should be limited once they're going on Everest, because we see a lot of queues and rush happening there?
True. Yeah, I agree to that. There should be a lot of screening going. Like every year, you must be knowing, like every year, this Nepal government will come with so many rules on the paper. But when it comes to the execution, because they're fully dependent on the tourism, especially adventure tourism.
Right.
So yeah, Sherpa's livelihood is depend on that.
It's a big
all the
money
adventure,
churner for the
yes,
government.
yes, and the adventure companies, they don't see your background because they want the money. And the climbers, if any inexperienced climbers, they do it for the name and everything, and they don't
Right,
realize
that's true.
that they are risking not only their lives but other lives.
Okay. So one
It's
more
like
question which has come up is that, hello, can you hear me, Raji?
yes, no, yes, sir.
Okay. So this is, since you have a son, you have a family to look
Yes,
after. So how
yes.
do you manage the things like it's expedition like Everest or Kilimanjaro or anything? Though you are a
Yeah,
co-founder of the company, that's true. But then how do you manage both the things?
because the support of the family, because yeah, because these kind of questions we women only face like when come to the family. Because when my kid was like only 3 months, my husband stayed away from me like 1 year.
Oh,
So I need to take it to be with the family because of the work. He shifted to Pune after my son turned 1. Then I shifted back to Pune. So no one asked this question to him how he managed the family and the work. And yeah, I have been only 2 months on the Everest, and I got these questions many times. How could
okay.
you leave your 4-year-old back at home and be on the Everest?
Right.
And Kili is like 5 days, like 7 days, like from Hyderabad to back to Hyderabad. So then when I'm corporate life, I'm very busy. Now I'm like very free. Like I don't climb like every day. Or
Correct.
this
Yeah, I've
it's like
obviously.
yeah. Most of the time I'll be with my family.
Correct. Okay, then we'll have few questions from the people who have asked just now. So, uh, Gaurav wants to ask, what are the next mountains or expeditions you plan? There's one which you did in Australia, wherein did in Sari. Tell us about it.
Yes. Yeah, I always have this love for handlooms. Before that, yeah, one of my friend who is like photographer. So we both
Okay.
did one documentary on this handloom sarees. We wanted to do first documentary. So we visited all the handloom houses in Hyderabad, in the Telangana, all. So then I got this idea. Why? Because I seen them like one saree, they took like 7 days, like 7 days of the hard work, like one beautiful saree comes out. And so I thought, so why don't uh, I promote this their work? And so I thought, okay, all these there are like 5 regions and 5 different kinds of like Naranpet, Ikat, and Gollabama. They're like 5 different, like Gadwal sari. They're like 5 different kinds of handloom saris in Telangana. So each of my team
Okay.
member wore that each fabric, and we climbed. And it was nice. Like
Okay.
when we are climbing, there are teams like who are feeling the fabric and say why you're coming with the sari.
Correct.
Then they get to know about our like
Culture.
tradition and everything. Yeah,
Right.
it's good
Nice.
to do that. It felt happy doing that. And
Okay. So
yeah,
what is
my
next for you? Any expeditions?
yeah, this July I planned for Elbrus, which I can't do now. And December I
Okay.
planned for
Right.
Aconcagua. I don't know if it's possible this year. Yeah, one day I
Okay.
want to do Choyu with my brother. You see.
Oh,
Yeah, that
nice.
climbing is a pooling. Yeah, I climb more peak, but both are climbing. Pooling funds is very big, difficult task.
Obviously. Right. Right.
Yeah, he's on a
Absolutely.
mission of climbing 8,000 meters. So
Okay.
that's,
Okay, next is by Bharat Sharma. He wants to know, how's the view from Tibet side of Everest?
I didn't get you. View from?
What is the view like, once you are climbing from the north side?
Yeah, from the North Pole we can see not down like all. It's like beautiful. It's like all white covered. Say,
Okay.
I want to say one thing. Once I climbed Everest, before that, I used to enjoy everything. Like, it's very beautiful. After climbing Everest, I'm not enjoying anything. Maybe it's for the same for everyone. They're seeing everything.
Sure. Okay, another question is from Commander Raturi. He wants to know, will you try again for Everest?
Yes, if I'd have returned back from base camp or advanced base camp. Now I'm fine. Like,
Okay,
yeah,
so you
I
have
almost
settled down
reached the
with this
summit.
time.
Yes. Because if you see
Great.
Everest, because of it becoming costlier every year. And
True.
if you see, it's the biggest dump yard, kind of. Everyone is polluted the Everest.
Very
So
right.
better I'm absolutely satisfied because I overcame everything, and perfectly satisfied with my journey and experience. So I'll climb some other 8,000 meter peak and then trying again and putting the same efforts and same time and money in that. I try other peaks.
Very nice. Okay, now another question somebody wants to know is that if you could go back to the moment when you decided to come back, what different will you do now?
Nothing is the same. No.
So I can turn back.
Yeah, I am proud of my decision.
Oh, that's great.
It's absolutely, I'm proud of my decision. I never second thought about that. Maybe till I reach that 8.3, I'm a little bit confused, like 70% I'm good about my thought and 30% I'm doing wrong. But once I see that person there lying dead, I thought life is more important. You can do more things in life.
Right. Now, Vignesh wants, we see foreigners, once they come to Everest, they are very, very well prepared. They've done
Yes.
8,000, they've done multiple 7,000 meter peaks. Why is it that Indians don't have this kind of a mentality? And what could be the reason of this mindset that, after 6,000, we'll do an Everest or 7,000, and that too after 1 or 2 years of just starting to being into mountains. But unlike foreigners who do 8 years, 10 years, then they would go for Everest. What is the difference in mindset you see in that?
In my case, I don't have good guidance, to say honestly. And in others, I told you right, climbing peak is like a costliest thing.
Raji, bit louder.
It's not. So climbing any peaks is like very costly affair. So I told you right. People why they opt, because they get that name after reaching Everest. It's easy for them to climb other peaks, because majority of the people, they go with the same idea.
Right. Yeah, no, that's right. One is that expenditure is more, and then Indians generally have that fancy of Everest and Everest. Yes. They cannot afford going for multiple 7,000, multiple 8,000s, and then going for this. Okay, then there's another one who wants to know that a person who wants to start into mountaineering, what courses and institutes do you think somebody should do? Like we have
many institutes
NIM,
like
we have HMI. What kind of courses one should do?
Yeah, basic and advanced course. Basic mountaineering course and advanced mountaineering course. We need to do, because these are the government-run institutions. And when compared to others, it's like very cheap. At the time when I did, it's like only 4,600 rupees, the 28 days, boarding, lodge, and everything. And you get to know how your body is reacting to the that high altitude. It's the best courses to do, and do basic, advanced, and then climb few peaks, 7,000 meters, and then go for the Everest.
Right. So that's a good point. I mean, I would like to add on, so you have a step-by-step procedure for going up. So like I was telling my daughter, she did the adventure course that is for children. Once you are adult 18 and above, you have a basic course. Once you do well in the basic course, it's not that everybody gets to do an advanced course. Like Raji was saying, she got an A grade. So if you get an A grade, you get recommended for an advanced course. And then once you do well in advanced course, you can do a mountain rescue course as well, wherein you get to understand what kind of emergencies can happen. How do you handle those kind of things? And it's always good to be better prepared,
Yes. I want to add one point here, Romel. Yeah, I'm on the Everest. Most of the people, we are fully dependent on it's a truth that we fully dependent on a Sherpas, like pitching tent and changing our oxygen cylinders. Even I don't know to change my oxygen cylinder. So you need better search and rescue, all this teach them, because if there can be that day it was a good day. If my Sherpa fall ill, I had to rescue myself, right? And so it's better, no,
it's absolutely important to be self-sufficient, because at lower levels it is still acceptable, you can turn back, but then once you are at 8,500 or 8,000, anything above 8,000, anything goes wrong, then as we discussed earlier, you are solely on yourself. Nobody's going to help you or come to your rescue at all. No helicopters, no one at all. So that's very important to understand.
Yeah, because my Sherpa is with me, I'm fine. But if something happened to me, what should I do? So these kind of things are better to learn and then be on the mountain.
Okay, now Harminder wants to know, you've done some running before your courses and all, and you did climbing. So since both of these things were new to you, so tell me which one is tougher for you?
Yeah, until you, yeah, even I start running, because which I left like some at the age of 31, I started jogging, running again. So which I left in like when I'm like 14, 15 years. So it was hard when I started that.
Right.
So we can't compare, like running is different and
Correct. Yeah, I
mountaineering.
mean, whatever you like is your choice personally.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
difficulty level would, again, I mean, there's no comparison between the two.
Yes, yes.
So I think
Even
that's all for the questions which we had. Now I'll request everyone to please switch on their videos, and we'll have a quick photograph before we call it a day. And we have lots of people. Let me see. Just a few are still left.
Yes.
Yes, everybody is looking smart. No, Naresh, you're right. So one thing we'll have is, next we have already asked. Okay, then we'll have a picture now. Thanks all those who are on laptop or a computer. They can have a better view. We can only have 4 people at one time. That's fine. Okay, then that's all for the moment. We have all the questions well answered. Thank you so much. It was extremely brave decision, and I'm sure people would understand that it's not as rosy as we portray it to be. Once you're back, once you're there, everybody has a tough time. Everybody. And once we say that big mountaineers have got turned back from different altitudes, so it's always good to listen to your body and keep your mind and things open, rather than shutting down your body and just blindly following till the top. So thank you so much, Raji, for your time. I'm sure everybody is well learned. And
thank you,
anybody has got any questions subsequently, they can ask on the group which we have. Thanks so much. Good night, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for patiently listening to me. Thank you all.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. So group pick is done.
Yeah, done. Thanks. Good night.
Done. Okay. Thank you. Good night.